And Mike is on. We're good to go. Hey, want to thank you for joining us here today. What what an incredible weekend. Hey, Tony, thank you so much for the for the invite on that one. Man, Kids for Kids car event. I'm going to show you some photos on that one. We'll just play the video. That'll be the intro to the whole thing over here because I shot this while I was there. It's just get ready, man. This was this was quite the ride, or quite the event with unbelievable rides as that goes. All right, here we go. Let's go flip over to this share screen and share Chrome, Facebook, share, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, we're here at the Kids for Kids New York City group of this out at the Grabetsky Airport, Rally Point. I'm telling you, man, this is just unbelievable. The cars that are down there are outright gorgeous. The cars that are here are, it's another event. Street legal cars, most of them at least. And they're out on the track. They take these cars out there. There's quite a few that are full blown race cars. Quite a few others here that are street cars that definitely get a chance to exercise, every so often. Wow. I tell you, I definitely got a trip into Lime Rock, Connecticut, or Watkins Glen. It's certainly in the future over here to go see these cars in action. As they get, as they light them up, as they say. Big thank you to Tony for inviting me down over here for this event. Kids for Kids, great organization. We'll post some stuff about that as we go through, taking a whole bunch of photos from my new lens. So thank you folks for those suggestions. And just really great. It is, if anything else, this really completely solidifies my thought over here about how important the auto industry is in so many different aspects of it. The vocational side of it, the creativity side of it, the sports side of it, just the fun, the amount of families in here. Now you little kids running around there, they got all the gear on, so it's really, really, absolutely super. So it's good. Big Marvin, afternoon to you, my friend. I know you got a lot going on next to your area, your neck of the woods too, so it's really super. I'm certainly looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and actually all of October, the whole week. We've got a bunch of things coming on. We'll be able to share with you. Hopefully, you can attend most of these things, if not everything. Make that work. But find these groups. There's so much fun at these things, but there's only like part of it. Besides vocational stuff like that, it's the nonprofit end of it. Nonprofit, there is a lot of money for the kids groups, the nonprofits. That conversation continues to come up all the time, no matter what it is what event I'm going to as that goes. So it's really something else. Hey, Mike, good afternoon to you. And, beautiful day. This just really couldn't be any better. Uh, totally energized. I hope you can see that in the smile over here. Meet some friends, some new friends, some friends I know. Hopefully we'll see you down here too. It's over at the Rescue Airport. What a facility that is. Too. So it's all good. We'll see more and more as we go along over here. Got new legs. Photos that goes and it's all good. Well, we'll save those other topics for another day. But that's even getting better and better too. Really looking forward to everything. Hey, have an absolutely wonderful day. Enjoy. Get out there, support a nonprofit, and have a fun time doing it. Bring your toy.
That was a whole lot of fun. I got to tell you, to go and do to be there. Uh, Great people, great everything. They raised money for the Coleridge Children's Center, sure it's a foundation arm, whatever, but it raised over 100 grand that day. So it's really nice. And the one thing I did learn too is that there is a track up in Monticello that they go to, and that is an old airport that's been converted over to a road course. And they've got all kinds of events going on up there. So it's Monticello, New York. So not terribly far away. So that's their other playground, as that goes. But boy, if the only way I could really explain that setup that they have over there is like, if we were golfers, you go back to the clubhouse. Well, that happens to be the clubhouse. Their golf clubs happen to be cars, and very, very nice, very, very nice cars. I took some photos, broke out. I got a new lens for the occasion. I'm hoping these photos do it justice. I don't know if it will or won't, but we're, continue on that quest of things. But this whole event also really solidified yet again yet again, this whole idea of the auto industry and what it really means and things like that. You can say, oh, well, I don't know, battery operated cars, electric cars, really? Come on. I'm old school. They're not a darn thing in those cars over there that's old school. And wait till you see the interior of one of these things. There are so many buttons on that steering wheel that it's a control panel in and of itself. We'll get to that over there, but it's a matter of always. It seems like with these cars, it's pushing new technology, new ways of doing things. How do you make the car faster, stronger, more efficient with power? Getting the power down on the road or on the racetrack, obviously. All that stuff, factors into it. Seen it with the drag strip too. It's like, what cars that win, it's not the cars doing the wheel spin all the way down. I mean, that might look nice and all the rest of that stuff might put on a show, but that's it. Even the cars doing the wheel stands, right? It's like, it wasn't it, that person who was driving that car said the same thing. It's like, in order to go quicker, it had to be a little less of that wheel stand because it had to be more power going forward, not going up, but going forward, the rest of that stuff. So it's kind of really fascinating. Auto industry, how much that's going to change? Quite a bit, quite a bit. I definitely want to get somebody on over here to talk about that. Definitely want to get somebody on over here to talk about the interaction with the schools or the racing teams in the schools. Maybe it's the schools and the racing teams, or maybe it's the schools developing different uh, uh, automobiles, vehicles. I think that's probably a better term, vehicles, and how that ties in not just with the auto industry, but it ties in with the aerospace industry. And there's some schools around here that are part of that whole thing. Definitely got to spend the time reaching out to it. That is absolutely positively, one of my goals with this whole thing. But here's the comment on the business side, and I'll go over to these photos. Here's the comment on the business side of things. You really just never know. You really never know. I mean, here I go from doing something for a radio station, for LA News Radio, lead a panel discussion. I was like, yeah, sure, man, it'll be fun, great experience, meet some people. All of a sudden, involved, had been already, but whatever, with the IDA, the Industrial Development Association for Brookhaven, for Islip. Now I'm meeting people from the Suffolk County IDA, in that respect, because of definite involvement thing. But that one panel discussion, all of a sudden gave me a little bit of credibility in this whole idea of what about the idea of if Long Island does get a drag strip. I had to know a little bit more because I was going to be asking questions about it. Read the report, did that. Had Dennis Catoni on there, part of the panel. Also needed to know what was going on with the airport, Ronkonkoma hub, and how that was growing. So I picked up a little bit of knowledge about everything. I didn't have to know. Didn't have to really know. I had to ask a somewhat intelligent question. But because I put myself in that situation, because you put yourself in different situations, you need to know. You just need to gain a little bit more knowledge as it goes. And then it just continues to build. When they say building everything is a slow process, small steps, just got to take one step after another. So true. Because you'll meet different people along the way that won't know exactly what your background is, but if you're there for the right reasons, that sincerity, authenticity thing. But if you're there for the right reasons, they'll have conversations with you. You'll pick up on different terms. You'll pick up on different things that are going on. Maybe you get introduced to people. In this case, I wound up going from that panel discussion to volunteering to do the microphone over at one of the racing events, and I'm fighting back, doing that. Met a whole group of people, meeting people that are very involved in not just drag racing, but auto racing as itself. Different kinds of aspects of the auto industry. But then again, you'll take a look at these cars. It's not just the aspect of the auto industry. It's the aspect of the entrepreneurism. How many business owners do you think own these cars? Quite a few. It's not low price cars, and that's something you're building in your backyard. These are bought cars. It's who owns these cars? I definitely think you got a bunch of entrepreneurs that have built some very successful businesses, maybe in the auto industry, maybe not. The key sponsor on this thing was not in the auto industry. Had quite a few nice cars. Actually, I think he won a trophy for one of the best in some class as that went along. But there's so many ways to be successful and to go and participate in hobbies directly and non-directly. That's a big part of this whole thing. So if the non-racing community sees this as an inspiration for being an entrepreneur, whether it be owning your own company or being an entrepreneur, being a part of somebody else's company and growing from there and reaching full potential, where you can reach any potential in companies, any potential. And you know what? Then this whole thing really truly works. Really truly works. And it's an interesting ride. If nothing else, man, it just is a whole lot of fun, doing this whole thing. All right, so let's see if we could share the screen over here. We'll share some of these photos that we took, and you're gonna love some of these things. All right, let's go share screen. There we go. Tab window. I think it's window. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna pop over here. You should have this thing on this one. So it's Kids for Kids, NYC. These were the cars, my friends. You didn't have a car that looked like that. You were not in that inner level. And the cars that were on the outside of this thing were just as gorgeous. Absolutely incredible. We got photos of everything as throughout the day. Couldn't stop taking photos. And I want to shout out here. I got a new lens, a Nifty 50. So I want to thank our buddies that have been taking photos over at the track. Had him guiding me on that one. So really good. That was Matty Wass was MattyWass.com for his photos. It was the last one to make that suggestion. And I went into my Photoshop place and spoke to them about that. So here we go. We'll go through these photos relatively quickly. There we go. That was that inner area. So it's an industrial area. It's over at Grabetsky Airport, and they've rented out. I'll say like 5 or 10,000 foot in areas for it's an industrial complex. It's not really that complicated. It's an industrial complex, and they've got 5-10,000 square foot areas that they have rented out. That they keep some of these cars in for storage, others, for doing whatever work they do on the cars, and this is where they keep them. So it's really something else. And then there are other businesses there too. This is not just pure automotive, but it's interesting. Some of these cars, look at that. That is just that is one beautiful vehicle. Oh, there's a car, the Ferrari lineup as that went. This thing looks like a Batmobile, just absolutely incredibly gorgeous. So here's the inside. Look at that. You're going to call that a steering wheel? I don't think you're going to call that a steering wheel. But there's so many different features in there. I wouldn't even know where to begin. You could sit me on one side of one of these cars, but to start it up, it's like, need quite the lesson to learn how to do that one. Fascinating cars. Fascinating. This is the Kids for Kids car, permanently on that car. And that was what the whole event was about. It was raising money for Kids for Kids. So that was really cool. The was our James Bond car. The interesting too about this track up in Monticello is they have a summer camp for teenagers that want to learn how to race cars. And old school Mustang that was there. And kids want to learn how to race cars, and they're up there for a summer camp on that one. So that's pretty cool. Trying to get a little creative over here. So we got the Kids for Kids, and it was inside of one of the trunk, the door. I think this was the door that came up. That was where I took that one. And another one of the old school cars. Not so much as old school. Little racing car there. Another racing car there. And these cars are raced. You could see this has got a little mhm, pushing on some of the fenders over there. Uh, and this is artwork too. You know, these cars, even the pleating on the seats, man. It's just there's just so many different aspects of this whole thing. It's not just building an engine. It's not just building a car. It's just building a piece of artwork that is just gorgeous, and artwork that has to work, obviously. And you have to be able to see all of these gauges as you're sitting in there. Obviously, safety features is another must. These are not slow cars in any way, shape, or form. So it's got to look good or look great, function unbelievably well, and be safe on top of it. Just absolutely incredible. Look at that. I'm actually proud of that photo. There we go. There's Tony's car. Couldn't let the day go without taking a picture of Tony's car. Now, now I understand also what some of the photographers, had mentioned about the challenge of taking photos of cars at car shows because they're all kind of close together. So I couldn't, for the life of me, figure out how to get this photo in without including either the car on the right or the car on the left. So that was my best shot at it. So that one's for you. A classic Corvette. Old pickup. And another across the board. I guess you had to have a Ferrari to be in this. And actually, they did categorize the cars in different places. So this is Ferrari Row. Really neat. We're back to the other that racing car again. Uh, Interior. This was a woman that was running the event, raising money again for the Cummings Children's Medical Center. New lens made it a lot easier to take photos indoors, and I couldn't help but taking a couple of more photos, on the way out too. I didn't put these in any real order, but look at that thing. That is just really something else. I think that car won the overall best in show. That's a Pagari. Wouldn't recognize it down the street in any way, shape, or form. Here's another one too. So here's another learning moment too with the cameras. Like, what do you focus on? What do you set the focus on? So is it the lettering? Is it the wheel? No. That's another one. So we'll save that for another learning experience as you go through and the whole thing. And it's the overall. That was that interior look on the whole thing. It's just really something else. Oh, I even shot a video. This was another learning moment, and I think I had the wrong lens on for that one. So we'll just kind of cut it right here. Yeah, let's just cut that one right there. So we'll kill that one. And we're back over here. So there's so many different aspects of everything that we do, without a doubt. This whole thing has opened up a whole new world to me, and hopefully it's opened up a bit of a new world to you. Some of you folks that come from this community, with the cars, be it, you've been through like a Wilson Tech or a Bosse's or a STEM, or well, probably wasn't called STEM if you got the gray hair, but the automotive program. Some of the conversations I've had with people just been, really eye-opening. How they've gone through. Oceanside High School spoke to one of the folks that showed up for their car show. The students put on a car show with the rat rod that they had built. And I was speaking to some of the other cars, and they had alumni on the cars that were participating in the car show. So you knew they went to that school. And I had some conversations with them, but there was one person that really stood out. How about how he went and got involved with the automotive program, and he wound up spending so much time, energy, and effort learning and being motivated by it that his career went that way. His whole entire career went that way. But also throughout high school, he wound up being, he was never the jock. He made a choice as to where he wanted to go. And as he put it, it kept him out of trouble, in that respect, but it blossomed into a great career for him. Had spending money as he was going through high school because people would come and he worked for a garage and he was doing some basic stuff. Then it got to be more and more intricate work that he was doing. He got paid for it and some other things that were going along there where he got paid for the work that he was doing. It turned into a full-blown career. And when he came back over here with the car that he was working on, it seemed like he was still a student. because that was a car that he had for 40 years. And he learned how to do body work. And I asked him, I was like, how'd you learn how to do the body work? And it was basically because he screwed up. He did it, didn't come out well, did it again, and did it again, and kept on doing it until it came out the way he wanted it to come out to. Constantly learning. That's sincerity, isn't it? That idea of constantly learning, always picking up new things, learning from our mistakes, not getting unbelievably frustrated with it. That's hard. Sometimes it's very easy to get unbelievably frustrated with something that just didn't go right. I've been there. I'm sure many of us have been there. Not all of us have been there. It's like, oh, yeah, you wanted to do something and it messed up. You had that undesired outcome. What do? You can speak to the motivational speakers. They'll tell you all about it. It's not whether you fail. It's what you do after you fail. You get up again. Some people will take it on the thing. It's like, if you're not failing, you're messing up. You have to fail. You have to fail in order to learn. And you want to learn more, you got to mess up faster, fail faster. And these are all quotes that somebody else had put out there. So it's not it's original, but it's true. It really is. It is a matter of going out there and doing. You find the balance with it. Look, would I get behind the wheel of one of these cars and take it out on a track? No way. Not without learning. Not without understanding, well, what all those buttons are for, or how to really turn a car. I learned that a long time ago, that I don't know how to really turn a car. I could steer a car and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, when you're moving a car quickly and you want to get the maximum amount of power into the car, you want to get the maximum amount of speed as you're going around a turn and the maximum amount of speed as you're coming out of that turn, that's not easy. That is absolutely not an easy thing to do. Over my son, we were at go-kart racing. Went up to Lime Rock, Connecticut, and Englishtown, New Jersey. We're in the parking lots over there. And these carts did about 45 miles an hour. The track was set up, one Lime Rock was set up like an oval. That was so much easier than the other one that was set up like a road course in the parking lot over in Englishtown. Whew! So we did an hour-long race. We had to swap drivers. He and I swapped out, time again. And I thought I knew what to do. It wasn't that hard when it came to that circle that we did up in Lime Rock, because it was a matter of, hitting the apex right and stuff like that. But you didn't have to slow down altogether too much. Just had to come in at the right angle. Road course, different. Who knew? Didn't know until I got there. And then I went into the thing very overly optimistic. And I realized that I just couldn't there was one turn in particular that was so important, because if you came into the turn too quick, it was little S's. You go into it too quickly, you're compensating all over the place, and you're not coming out of the turn at the right place to have full power. Don't underestimate 45 miles an hour. Definitely don't underestimate it, because it's still relative to everybody else that was going on. Was it a scary speed? No, but was it fast? Was it too fast for some of those turns? Absolutely. Oh, we spun out time and time again, tried really hard not to hit the person in front of you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to mess up that race, and you hit somebody. What do? Hit somebody, you hit the brakes, you're slowing down, it just doesn't work. It's a matter of learning and doing, preparing for these things. Frustrating, without a doubt. Would I love to go back there and do it again? Without a doubt. Would I love to be able to do that in our own backyard? Without a doubt. Permanent track? Possibility? Who knows? Is there ways of looking out there and trying to make that happen? Yeah, certainly is different ways of going out there and doing that. I hope it comes to be. We shall find out. But I do know it's not just about hitting a gas pedal. It's not just about racing a car, whether it be straight line drag racing, or if you've got a road course, or even the circle track that you have at Riverhead Raceway. There's so many other things that go along with it. So many things to learn from it. be either driving the car, learning how to defensively drive a car. Wouldn't that be great for our students to understand actually what the car that they're driving can do and not be overconfident? That would be something. It'd be great to see these driver ed programs go from driving in the street, nice, safe environment, to actually going onto a track, safe environment, but actually seeing that the car is a lot more powerful than they might imagine. And then turning a car when you have to at the last second is a lot more challenging than just slowing down. But what do you do if there's some issue that happens right in front of you and you just have to react immediately? What do you do? And you might sit here and say, oh, this is what I would do. You know something, that's not the case. What you're going to do is what you're going to react to doing instinctively. And if you've never been in a situation before, what do? You're out on a rainy day. There's some leaves on the ground. The car starts to slide. What do? All depends, doesn't it? But if you have to think, now all of a sudden you've got split seconds, a second that's going through, you're thinking, not reacting. That's problematic, right? Maybe it saved you from an accident. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. Same thing, you even drive pavement or snow and things like that. It's fine. I think it would be great to have more of a full defensive driving class to take out at some facility. And look, what I did, my father and I went up to New Hampshire when we did that. It was a great weekend away, all the rest of that kind of stuff. And what we did was just on a slalom course. There was just 6 traffic cones that were set up. And they had us go through the cones. I tell you, it's a lot more challenging to keep a car in control going through the cones. What I learned is that I need to learn. What I'm looking for is the opportunity to learn. And if there's anything you take out of all of this stuff across the board, is to keep on learning. Keep on exposing yourself to different situations, different things. You want to share your expertise in something, you want to share your knowledge in something, by all means, go out there and do it. But understand there are always resources to learn a little bit more, to see things from somebody else's point of view. It's key when you want to become a better speaker, you got to see it from somebody else's point of view, relate to that audience. You want to answer questions, you want to become a better business owner, salesperson, you got to see it from somebody else's point of view. Keep experiencing things in a different manner. You're having a fun time doing it? Hey, that's great. You're having a fun time doing it, you're getting compensated because it's your business, man, that's a beautiful thing. You're able to bring your community along, help other communities along throughout the whole process. Man, that's golden. That is golden. Bring people along for the ride. Could be a lot of fun, especially in some of those vehicles. Everything could be good. We just got to make it good, my friends, and we certainly can do that. Drive safely, and remember, speak well, speak often, and live inspired. There's so many different ways of doing that, and you will inspire other people to do exactly the same thing in their own way. Have a great day. Enjoy everything. Oh, I got to go back to those photos. I'm going to learn how to Photoshop. That's just straight out of the camera. All right, a little bit of music, rock music, and we are, as they say, done for the day.